Hey everybody, it's James with Rowe-Thrush. Welcome to Rowe-Thrush Livestream interviews. Today we will be interviewing Bob Bakhta with New Age Industrial. Before we get into it though, what is the Livestream interview? Basically, what we do is we like to bring on different suppliers of ours each week to talk about the products and solutions that they can bring to you and your customers. Who is Rowe-Thrush? We're a manufacturer rep agency that represents just over 60 different brands into Granger, ranging from lighting and electrical, material handling, hand tools, pneumatics, safety and security, plumbing, and heating and air conditioning. We're a little different from most rep agencies because we specialize in working with the Granger sales force, providing many great tools to the Granger sales force, such as segmented line cards, the Rowe-Thrush SharePoint site, Rowe-Thrush videos, these live stream interviews, and much, much more. And with that, I would like to bring Bob on to the show. Welcome, Bob.
Hey, James. Thanks for having me in. I look forward to this.
Yeah, likewise. It's been a long time since we've spoken and seen each other since the last time I went out with Mark Winters out to your facilities. So how are you doing today?
We're doing good. Like everybody, we're trying to keep everybody healthy and safe and happy and keep everybody employed. And you know how that works. It's tough right now for the world.
Yes, it is. So why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself? How long have you been with New Age? What is it that you do there? And what did you do before New Age?
Well, I'm the national sales manager, so I cover North America for New Age Industrial. I also, prior to that, I've been doing that for 14 years. Prior to that, I worked for another aluminum manufacturer back in my hometown here. And I did that for about 9.5 years. And then prior to that, one more step backwards, we had a grocery store in our hometown that I ran for 25 years of my life, but it was about a 60-year-old grocery store. So that's pretty much what I've done, and that's what shaped the way I am today. We also had a meat processing plant that I learned a lot from, that I worked with. It was our family owned. So a lot of things, and kind of makes you what you are today.
Yeah, wow, that is quite an impressive background, both in the food industry as well as aluminum industry. So you must have a wealth of knowledge when it comes to the types of products that we're about to get into.
Sometimes I don't think I do, but I'm always surprised some of the stuff that pops out. But yeah, I've been there, done it. You're right. It does help a lot as you get older, but there's a lot of other things that go wrong as you get older too. So you have to live with both.
Oh yeah, it was a number of years ago. My knees started going out, and I said to my wife, "Oh boy, I'm getting old. My knees are giving me trouble."
Right.
So I know I got plenty more years to go on you though.
Well, I love what I do. I really do. I look forward to getting up. I never turn my phone off because I just don't want to miss anything. So I'm getting older, but boy, I sure love the chase, and I love what I get to see and meet people. That's, to me, that's the best part of life.
As long as you got that fire in the belly, keep on doing what you're doing.
Yeah.
So one more question about you before we get into the company that you work for, New Age. And this is a question I ask everybody that we interview, and that is, what is your favorite movie and why?
Oh, that's a toughie. There's a lot of good ones out there, and there's some that aren't. I think the one that hits home with me, and maybe with a lot of people that might be watching this, is The Notebook. I've watched that about 3 or 4 different times. It's it's a tear jerker. I can't talk, but it also, everybo's had someone in their family that has probably had some issues like that. So it does relate back to all of us, I think, in many ways.
Yeah, I remember watching that with my wife when we first started dating. She absolutely loves the movie, watches it, all the time. At least once a year, she's watching that movie, if not more. So I've seen it many times, and at first I was reluctant because I'm not too much into the romance type movies, but was very surprised and very pleased to watch it. and definitely understand that it won all the awards that it did, and that it holds the test of time, because it is a great story, love story. And as you said, myself personally, I was my mom, she went through dementia as well. She passed away luckily before COVID hit, but she was in a assisted living before that happened, and was glad that she was able to pass before before everything got locked down, because we wouldn't have been able to see her. That would have been very rough for her. So
Yeah, I think, yeah, and I had the same problem with my mother, and it was about a 2-year span, and it was very hard for all of us. But we all go through something like that in life, and we just have to be prepared for it.
yes, yes. So when it comes to New Age, tell us a little bit about the company that you work for, and what is it that they do, and a little bit about their history.
Well, New Age Industrial started in 1966. It started when a gentleman was moving a piece of equipment from Colorado down to St. Joseph, Missouri, and he broke down in Norton, Kansas. That's where the factory is. Several of the guys there decided they wanted to buy this and put it in their town because they wanted to get some industry in there. And one of them was the Sharp family, and they bought it from the gentleman, so he didn't have to drive any farther. And they started figuring out what they were going to do with it. They just knew it was an aluminum press, and it extruded aluminum billet, primary aluminum only. And they tried some different things, and they finally hit a home run with some dunnage racks. And I think that my dates are going to be a little off, but I'm going to say like in 68, 69, they made the first dunnage rack. And a dunnage rack is nothing more than a frame that stuff sets up on top of above the ground, whether it's in a cooler or freezer. People nowadays need it because of the certification for food safety, so you can't have things on the ground. So their timing was right. But since then, we have grown quite a bit, and we do a lot more different things. But we do extrude all our own aluminum, and we fabricate everything ourselves. And we have well over 1,000 different shapes and dies because of that. Now, most manufacturers are lucky if they have 5 or 10 shapes, because they have to buy them from Alcoa or Alumex, and they have to use that up. Where we can make all our own shapes, it's an indirect press, so we can make small batches. And that is another benefit for us. We're not wasting a lot of aluminum when we do shoot it. So, yeah, just to give you, that's probably enough to tell you right there, but that gives you a pretty good idea, I hope.
That's a great explanation, and a very interesting story. Truck breaking down in your town, and somebody just buys it, not knowing fully what it does and the capabilities, and creates this company. That's amazing to hear, and the fact that you have over 1,000 dies to be able to press and make different extruded aluminum products. That's really great to hear as well. It says a lot about the ability to customize products. So getting into the next question, what types of customers would be interested in New Age products?
Well, in today's world, it changes. Obviously, New Age started out with food service equipment, then was their next thing. But today, we're not just doing food service equipment, which is pan racks, dunnage racks, as I said earlier, can racks, and now, and wall mount racks to keep things up off the floors. Now we've got more market segmentation, where we have picking and fulfillment type orders, where we can shoot, and we can do order picking cards, pick to light cards, ladder cards for narrow aisle picking, raised platforms. We do a lot of customs. And that's the biggest benefit that we receive from that indirect press. It's easy for us to shoot small runs, take different shapes, put them together, and make things that are extremely strong. The other thing that we have that no one else has is that we have some fantastic engineers in there that work with you to help get it designed and get you pricing on it. And I tell you, without those guys and without the people working out in that plant, we wouldn't have anything. But I can't thank them enough. We also service the food service industry, the grocery industry, the U.S. government. We do a lot for them, but mainly we build to order, which this is going to sound crazy because nobody ever says this. Most people say we maybe 1 or 2% of what we build is custom. In our case, about 75% of what we build, what we quote, is custom. So we're very used to building it so it fits your exact needs. And that's the most critical thing I can tell you, because when I go out there and see this stuff, I want it to be right. I don't want it to be half right or 3/4 right. We want it to be perfect so it does exactly what you want and what your loads are.
Great. Thank you for going through all of that. When it comes to the customer business issues that a customer run into, whether it be sustainability, productivity, cost savings, things like that, what areas can your products help those customers out with?
Well, you've got all kinds of different materials out there. Obviously, aluminum is lighter and more durable than steel products. We know that. Galvanized and plated steel, those type of products are going to rust. Aluminum will never rust. This is primary aluminum, so we've got it will never rust in the lifetime of its product. It's going to be aluminum could be anywhere from 20 to 40% more expensive, but it is lighter and it's still durable. It's going to be able to handle the same loads that any kind of steel will, pretty much. As far as I'm concerned, of course, I think aluminum is the only way to go. I would say that, but that's the best product you can use for what you're trying to do.
Great, thank you. Now, I saw a comment pop up a little bit ago from Filberto, about great knowing the different side of New Age and everything. So right now we're already providing great information to the Grainger sales force. So hey, Filberto, great to see you on here. Now, when it comes to Grainger seller and walking into a customer facility, what should people be looking for in order to identify opportunities for New Age products?
That is a toughie because everybody's different on what they see and perceive. But I guess you just have to have your eyes open. You've got to be able to communicate with the right people. Take a look around at what they have and what they're using. And you need to have some knowledge as far as what you can do. And that's where I come into play. They need to call myself or call some of the engineers, and they can help you get through it. If you feel like there's an opportunity out there, and we will sure work through it with you. It's hard because everybody's different on that. We've got several different projects we're working on right now, and every one of them have a different need, a different use. Everything's different, but I guess that's why we're here. That's why I'm here. I'm here to support your team and make it happen.
Yeah, and at the end of the live stream, we will be providing Bob's contact information as well as Mark Winters here at Rowe-Thrush. That way, anybody that has any questions or needs some assistance, you can reach out to either of those two people, and they'll be able to help you out with your customers' needs.
Yeah, and like we've talked about, if they're using steel or plastic and they're cracking and we've got aluminum, we can fix it. If you see they have food around containers or they need to get stuff off the ground, we've got the Dunnies racks. If they're looking, you can see if they need shelving. There's just so many things you can find when you're there. We make these little trash can dollies that go underneath and they're all aluminum. You can't break them at all versus that plastic stuff. There's just a lot of things you can see when you go into a facility. If you just take note of that, you can give them solutions to solve it, and we can help you with that.
Yeah, and definitely in the food service industry, there's going to be lots of applications because your products are NSF certified. Well, not all of your products, but most of your products are NSF certified. So definitely food and beverage manufacturers could utilize these products, as well as restaurants and pharmaceutical companies, things like that as well.
Yeah, exactly.
Now that we've identified some possible areas for your products, who should a Grainger account manager talk to, and what are some key questions that they should ask them to get the ball rolling with talking about your products?
Well, again, when they go in a facility like a warehouse environment or something like that, we sell a lot of our order pickers and picking carts and picking platforms. Because in today's age, everybody that you buy stuff on the internet comes to your front door and they're looking for solutions to where they either need a narrow aisle cart to get down an aisle to pick goods for their people, or they need a wider cart, or they need a cart that goes up with your order picker so they can get the goods put away and picked up or receive their goods. Those are all the things that we do, and when we take care of them, we look at everything, even the maintenance side. You're looking at, we've got mat racks and drying racks, the food service we've already talked about pretty much. You've got the bun pan racks, can racks, and that. These are all things that you're going to see, but we do a lot in the pick and fulfillment, and that seems to be the hottest thing right now, because everybody is either working on conveyors where we can do a sled or a picking cart or a ladder cart that puts them up 3 or 4 steps, or an order picker that goes down the main aisles. And that takes care about all their goods coming to the front and going out the door, or coming in and putting them away.
Great. Looks like we got a question from Mark Winters. Do you know if there's any Grainger facilities that actually use New Age products?
Oh, sure. I mean, I think there's about every facility that there's one in Kansas City that uses our order pickers. And that is a Grainger facility. We have a lot of Grainger facilities that use our different order pickers and platforms and that.
Well, that's really cool. Not only are you a supplier to them, but they're also a customer to you. So that's pretty cool. And you'll also notice that behind me here, we have our display of all of our supplier products, but also the display itself. This shelving unit here is one of New Age's T-bar adjustable shelf rack systems. And we use it, down low, we have our water and whatnot, but we have our suppliers' products up here. So we also have their products on display with every live stream that we do.
James, did you put that together yourself? I'm just curious.
I did it with Mark. So it's a very wide one. So needed 2 people to put it together, but Mark and myself put it together, and it was relatively easy to do.
Well, we've got a video on that, on how to put our shelving together, because some of that wire shelving you see out there is so flimsy, and it's a different way of putting it together than the wire guys. So if anybody, when they're looking at our shelving, go online and take a look at a video that we have that shows how New Age puts their shelves together. You'll learn a lot off of that.
Yeah, that's a great point to call out, is the resources available to everybody, but specifically for the Grainger sales force, the YouTube channel that New Age has. We actually, on our LinkedIn company page, we share their YouTube videos all the time. And they're just pumping out tons and tons of great material on a consistent basis. So look up New Age Industrial on YouTube and check out their video, subscribe to it. That way you can learn more about the versatility of their products. But one other thing too, when it comes to the resources, is customization. Do you want to talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, that's my favorite subject. So you probably are might want to go take a nap while I'm trying to go through on this one. No, when it comes to the custom side again, we've got everything there to help you get it done. The first thing we try and do is we do have a worksheet where you can go in there and fill it out as far as what your loads are, the size, it asks you every question you can possibly want to know, on it. So that way you can draw a little sketch of it and everything. But my engineers are so good at that. You can give it to them and they can get something back to you and get a price to Grainger so they can forward it on if it's doing something for sourcing, because that's going to be that customization side again. But I hope I answered your question. I might have diverted off there. I'm sorry.
No, you did great. So on top of the large assortment of products that New Age Industrial has in Granger, we also have that customization. So if your customer wants, say, this shelving system, but they want it a little different, work with Bob or Mark here at Rowe-Thrush, and we'll help you guys out on getting you into contact with the people needed to help create something like that.
And we have a YouTube channel. It's www.youtube.com/user/New Age IND. If they want to go look at that too, we'd have that available to them too.
Yeah, thank you, Megan, for including that. Commenting on that to create a quick link to it. So thank you for that. Now, getting into the products, what are some of the key features and benefits that New Age Industrial provides?
Well, like I said, mainly the fact that we can do anything you want within reason. Our load capacities, are limited, but not that much. I mean, I've built things that can carry up to 6,000 pounds. So I don't think that's a problem, but you never know. That is our forte. But again, we do offer so much different products, like for meat processing, they're going to need lug tubs, carts, and movers. The build to order, we've already talked about that. The U.S. government, we have a real variety of products that we offer out there, and we keep coming up with more every day. It just seems like the guys are very innovative, and we're open to about anything you want us to do, as long as it's all aluminum. I just don't mess with steel. There's just no reason to. We don't deal with steel whatsoever.
So staying on the customization question there, about how many or how often does a customized cart or shelving system or rack system, how often does one of those customized units become a standard product that you manufacture on a regular basis? Does it happen a lot, or is it something that seldom happens?
If you went back to the about 14 or 15 years ago, we only had a couple different items in that catalog. Today, I don't have an exact count. I'm just going to kind of wing it, but I'd say we probably got at least 40 to 60 items in our catalog that are now standard items since that time, because we have several different order picker, raised platforms, aluminum pallets. Aluminum pallets are crazy right now. I don't know what's going on there. I think the industry, they have a choice between wood, they have a plastic, or they can go to aluminum. Obviously, wood is cheap, and if you're not going to ship it overseas, you're fine. Plastic is brittle; it's going to break. If you try and put any kind of metal detection device in it, it's just particles. It might be 75% active. If you break a piece off, it still could get in your food, which would shut a meat processing or food processing plant down. In my case, if you bought an aluminum pallet from me, it's already 100% fire resistant. It's already UV resistant. It's already 100% metal detectable. It's going to carry up to 5,000 pounds on that pallet. And you can get them, whether they're an FDA type or or just a regular flat pallet that you can pick up with a forklift. You just don't want to leave them outside, because somebody could pick them up and they could get about $25 for the recycled value of them. But they're usually used in a closed loop system.
Yeah.
So some of our products, and like I said, the pallets have been a real big success. Again, if you go to plastic, you got to buy 25,000, make a die. In my case, if you want one, I'll build one. It's not a big deal. We can build pretty much to order. We're just limited on size, because they're just so big you can go and get it welded correctly. But if you have any questions there, I'm open for anything on that.
Yeah, I was going to mention that you'd want to use those for closed loop systems, because it's just too expensive to ship one way somewhere. You want it internally going back and returning. So
yeah.
Now, when it comes to some of your top selling items, what are some of the top sellers that we have with Granger?
Granger does a phenomenal job. I've been really impressed with you guys, James, your team. I can't thank you enough. I know when we started, we didn't know what to put in there, but we slowly learned. And now, I mean, our number one selling item is those wall mount shelves, and there's 4 or 5 different selections that you pick from, but people buy those because you can put them up high. If you're in a wet environment, you can put your scales and printers up there. If you want a receiving desk, it's a nice little desk to sit by the back door to receive goods in and out for the trucks. I mean, they come up with all kinds of ideas. Bookshelves, they flip it upside down so the gussets are up and it can hold the books so they don't fall off. That's that little solid shelf you see. It's that little Grainger model 14G289, I think we show in the catalog. And it holds 200 pounds. We also show some of the other wall mount shelves. Some of them are sloped down. Some of them are flat with a holder down below to hang your different utensils on. Some of them are drying racks, some of the shelving, but these are just all wall mount shelves. They're not your 4-post shelves, but you just mount them to your walls. So that's probably their number one item. After that, the dunnage racks really take over big time because we do offer the 12 or the 8-inch high, depending upon what the environment is for the food service, what's required, and about any size you can think of. So that's pretty simple. So, I mean, that's some of the big stuff. We do have a lot of modular equipment stands. They sell a lot of shelving. And of course, the food service, I already said, the pan racks and can racks, but pallets, like I said, that's a biggie. And then a meat processing, we can talk on that forever. The special trays for that, the freezer baskets, the lug tubs, the bin carts, the bulk movers, it's all there. I mean, they're doing a great job getting our product out there and getting a taste of what we can do and help us create new products.
That's a lot of products that are popular movers with Grainger. And before I ask the next question, any Grainger account manager that are watching this right now, drop in the comments if you've ever sold any new age products or any questions that you may have for Bob and myself. So start getting those in now. That way we can answer them at the end here. So last question, and this is top of mind I know everybody here at Rowe-Thrush, obviously with you too, and a lot of Grainger people. What trade shows do you guys have coming up soon?
Well, we've got obviously the Grainger trade show. That's a big one. That's the one that's going to be a fantastic show. I know Mark just flashed up that we've got over 300 and some products with Grainger. And I'll tell you, I mean, that just makes me feel wonderful because it takes time to get that done. It takes time for everybody to become a believer. And because I know that was a new area for Grainger when we were trying to get in there. So I thank them for that. And I think they've all felt real good about it. But we've got several different shows. I always do. There's a couple shows that are like a meat show and some other different varieties that we go to. It kind of varies every year, but there's usually about 8 or 10 shows that we try and go to. And I either walk the show or we exhibit at the show. I just want to stay ahead of what's going on in the industry. And we do that. We're getting into the robotics now too. We're doing a lot of things for robotics on top of the robots, the cages that go on top for moving around. So hopefully we'll see everybody at the Modex show too. That's another big show that we do, and that's a great show for everyone. So
yeah, and Grainger show 2018 booth number. So make sure you stop by, say hi to Bob. Who else will be in the booth with you at the show?
Well, I've got Tom Sharp, one of the main owners of the company, will be there. I've got a couple of my reps in that area, and I've got Megan's going to come down and have some fun with me. We always do. So it's going to be a good time. I think we're going to have about 4 or 5 of us in working that booth, but that booth is a 20 by 40. It is a very nice, big size booth. We've got about 30 different products in there, I'd say, and they're all very unique. And if someone wants to see a flyer on that, we can always send me an email, and I'll have the girl send you out a flyer of the products that's going to be at that show. I think you'd be really surprised at the different products that we make. If you're looking for something innovative, I promise you that my engineers really helped me pick out some good stuff. This is one of the most innovative booths that we've ever done. So I'd love to send a flyer out to you or send information out to you if that works.
Great. Thank you. And yeah, we're all looking forward to it. It's going to be great to be able to get down onto the show floor once again, interacting with the Grainger customer as well as the sales force. So make sure you stop by the New Age booth. Reach out to myself or Mark Winters or anybody else at Rowe-Thrush if you want to know more about other suppliers of ours that will be at the show. I was actually checking the weather this morning, Bob, and this weekend when we go down and we start doing the booth setup and all that, it's going to be in the high 80s. And then later on in the week, it's going to get down into the high 70s. But still, that weather's better than what we got here in the northern Chicagoland area. And we just got about 4 or 5 inches of snow, too. So I know I'm looking forward to it. A nice little break from this cold weather.
Oh yeah, and I hope you don't mind. Can you want me to give my my email address in case they want to contact me, or how do you want to do that?
Well, yeah, here we have your contact info.
Oh, you got it on there. Sorry.
Yep, your phone number as well. So now if anybody has any questions for Bob and myself, please get them in. We'll wait a little bit and maybe talk a little bit more about the show and whatnot while we wait for that to come through. But, yeah, definitely looking forward to it. You guys have attended the Grainger show before in the past, so you guys are not new to it. You're familiar with it. We're at Orange County Convention Center these days, so, yeah, it'll be good.
We're going to have our famous bottle openers here, too. Oops, got to get in the deal. New Age Industrial, the beer can openers. This is one of our aluminum extrusions that we do. It's pretty simple, as you can see. Nothing to it, but it's a cute little thing to hand out. It stands for New Age Industrial with an opener on the end. So to give you an idea just what you can do with aluminum, it's pretty doggone neat.
Yeah, I know I have one. I think everybody here at Rowe-Thrush has one of those. And recently we got another gift from you guys, and that is New Age Industrial socks with American flags on it because, as Bob mentioned, their products are manufactured here in the United States. You also said government plays a big role as far as a customer of yours because you manufacture here. So government account managers, definitely you want to check out their products.
Yeah, you're right. Now we don't have to worry about all the other problems coming from overseas and everywhere else. We get most of our aluminum comes out of North America for sure. I know we were getting a bunch out of Portland, Oregon. I don't know where it is now, but yeah, we try and keep it all local here. And so that's what we're all about.
Yeah, great. Now, I'm not seeing any questions come in, so we're going to go ahead and wrap things up. So both an audio and video file of this will be available on the Rowe-Thrush SharePoint site. That way, any of the account managers that have access to it can view or listen to this at a later date. Our next live stream interview will be next Friday, March the 4th, and it'll be a special rewind episode. We couldn't find a supplier that could schedule in for us, so we're going to do a rewind episode with New Set Lock. So that'll just be a simple recording of it that we play live for everybody to watch. There will be no Q&A at the end or anything like that, but we wanted to be able to do that. So with that, I hope everybody has a great weekend. And Bob, thank you so much for joining us on our show.
Hey, James, Mark, I appreciate all your support, guys. We couldn't do it without you. You know that. You've been a great asset for us. So thank you for that. I can't wait to see you guys in a few days. It's going to be fun.
It definitely will. You're very welcome. And have a great weekend.
I will. Thank you. Have one. We'll see you.
Bye-bye.
Mm-hmm.